I want to start with this situation in the diocese at St. Mary's parish in your diocese. It got national headlines this week. Essentially, it's a group of conservative priests, I don't want to use the word conservative, Orthodox priests from Spain,
yes,
who came in, and they've been working at this parish since 2010, and there is a sudden uproar from the parish. What are you dealing with there? And tell me what you thought when you first heard that there was conflict in the parish.
Well, I was somewhat surprised, honestly, because as I introduced the priests of the Society of Jesus Christ the Priest to the parish family, I made it a point that they were happy, holy, hardworking men. And things there had gone the way things often go in a parish when there is a change of pastors. There are some people always who don't like the change and get themselves enervated about it. But most of the people kind of get comfortable and move along. And I had no reason to think that it would be different in Platteville. And as a matter of fact, 60% of the people have gone along. But there is a 40% group that seems to have a great difficulty. And I understand, because there was so much misunderstanding and so much misinformation and so much of a catechetical void in the last 40, 50 years. I understand the problem.
Right. And they were reacting,
Bishop. But at the same time, we have to move forward.
Yeah, we should tell people they were upset because the priests who came in, they said there will be no more altar girls. They said, we'll take care of distributing the communion, so we don't need extraordinary ministers of the communion. You went in, you were called in and basically looked and said, there's nothing that these men are doing that violates church teaching in any way. And yet a majority of the parishioners withheld contributions, and now I guess they're closing the parish school, right?
Well, yes, they are. I wouldn't say that a majority of the people withheld contributions. I would say those who are able to contribute more withheld contributions. I think that 60% of the people are basically willing to go forward with the priests, and I'm really hoping and inviting that the others will come in and learn how to work with them and go along. That's really the issue.
Now,
because we cannot have a situation where parishioners are in effect driving the priest out of the parish. And I'm trying to reach out in all charity to those who are unhappy and say, please talk to the priests, please get to know them. In many cases, the priests were never given a chance. And it's in that spirit, Raymond, that I wrote to the people.
And in the letter, it's a 5-page letter, and in it you suggest that, look, this should be a moment of reflection, and if you continue to whip up and instigate hatred and rumor and innuendo in the diocese, there are canonical penalties. Now, some, indeed the media at large, when you made headlines this week, they're saying, look, another enforcer, another example of the church coming down and clapping down on the laity. You would say what?
I would say what Father Caffardi, the canonist at Duquesne University, said, that I thought I owed it to them in respect to say, this is the road that we could be going down. Let's not go down that road, please. I actually said in my letter that I was writing now in a spirit of healing and reconciliation to avoid canonical warnings and action in the future. I said that explicitly, that I wanted to avoid that. And how that could be interpreted as exactly the opposite is beyond me.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a real misunderstanding in the reportage there and the way they're sort of characterizing you, and that's good that you clarified. What we're really facing in this case a parish council wanting to sort of take control of the parish? They essentially wanted to fire these priests. Have we reached a point in the church where perhaps we have to reanalyze and look again at the role of parish councils in the governing of a parish?
Well, you're right on target, Raymond. And the other consultative groups. The other consultative groups in the parish with the parish council are meant to be consultative. they do not somehow relieve the pastor of his responsibility to govern. And through the misunderstanding of the documents of Vatican II, there has come about a situation in many parishes where different groups are in fact governing, and the priest is, in that sense, their servant as they govern. The priest is meant to be a servant by governing. He's supposed to govern in a kind and a humble way as much as he can. But he is supposed to govern. And it cannot be that a majority in a parish council or any other group, it cannot be that that majority rules the parish. The pastor has to then listen to that, take it to heart, and then do what is best for his parish, for the diocese, and for the whole church. The pastor is supposed to bring to the parish a much larger vision than the people there might have. Sometimes people in a parish think that that exhausts the church, that the church really is no bigger than their parish.
Yeah. Bishop Morlino, there's go ahead. I want to broaden this just a little bit because I don't want to take too much of your time.
Sure.
The situation you're facing in Madison, it seems to me, is something we're seeing play out not only nationally but across the globe as Pope Benedict attempts to correct what you mentioned earlier as some of the misunderstandings of Vatican II and what Vatican II implied or demanded. The Pope this week, on May 5th, said to the bishops who gathered for an ad limina visit, you must reaffirm and ask Catholic universities and colleges to reaffirm their Catholic identity, their Catholicity. Why do you think he's making that plea now at this moment?
Well, because it's very clear that so many universities that call themselves Catholic are expressing dissent from the teachings of the Church, whether about abortion or whatever. Now, sometimes they do that in very direct ways, but when you're honoring people at a school who favor abortion, or you're honoring people who favor same-sex marriage, that is not only against Catholic teaching, but it's against the natural law. It's against the language of God's creation. It's against the ecology of human nature. And if we're willing to protect the ecology of the environment, we should be just as eager to protect the ecology of human nature, and marriage is built into that ecology.